Well, I'm an Oklahoman who found his way into Appalachia through years of schooling, much of which in Oklahoma, and then through Indiana and then Louisiana along the way. And I love the cerebral arts, so to speak. I love puzzles and advanced board games and trivia and travel. My goal is to visit all 50 states and all 13 Canadian provinces, even Nunavut.
And so you've been here at the university for how long now?
I've been here since 2005.
And what is your field of study?
My field of study is mathematics.
Wow, so you teach that in the field that so often students are nervous about and try to make it accessible. So I wonder, Dr. Holcomb, your sense of call and purpose, right? As a kid, did you ever picture yourself teaching math, or what did you want to do as a kid?
I wanted to be an environmentalist as a kid. I remember in third grade, in the class, we'd write kind of a little journal article, and we'd draw a little picture that would be our caption for all of our journal articles that year. And I wrote, I wanted to be an environmentalist / conservationalist or something like that.
So a lot has changed from that moment to now.
Mm-hmm.
And so as you think and explore, I mean, literally you explore all over the place, you're a great traveler,
Mm-hmm.
And you dream, what would be a dream job for you?
Well, I'd like to be able to have a job where, I just really enjoy teaching mathematics to a variety of levels of student, but not in auditorium-sized classes. And to be able to be part of a campus that's active at night. And I don't know about if high school, if this becomes an impediment, but I like to be up here at night till 10 or 11 p.m. And I know that sometimes the students are out, especially, not when it's like ice cold outside. Not a lot of people would be sitting out there if it were 10 degrees outside, but in the warmer times, I'd get a study break, a grading break or a test writing break, and just go out and socialize with students out in the plaza.
So when we think about your life, did anything in life happen that really spurred you on to this path of mathematics and being a professor?
Well, I would probably say there were 3 key phases. Second grade, when my second grade teacher, Miss Nelson, invited me to join the 4th graders for 2x2 multiplication in second grade. And I think I got a 17 out of 24 correct on that homework, and I was upset that I didn't do better. I had that perfectionism in me when I was younger. And then in high school, Miss Harris was a high school teacher who was about ready to retire, and she said, I don't think it would be a good idea for you to go to calculus your junior year because we have no math to offer you afterward. Why don't you take the trigonometry / math analysis, which basically comes kind of like probability theory and maybe some exponentials and logarithms. And then my senior year, I went into Calculus 1. And then the third phase would have been my advisor recommended that I apply to this research experience for undergraduates at Louisiana State. And basically, I didn't expect to get into it. It was short notice, and at the time I felt like I was a good math student, but this was being done nationwide. And lo and behold, I got accepted to it, and I got to meet Dr. Madden and Dr. Solsfus over at Louisiana State, and that's actually where I wound up getting my PhD at Louisiana State, because I remember the connections and had a very good environment for me. I don't think it was just the Cajun cooking, crawfish boils. There was something that made LSU kind of a place for me to blossom.
Mm. So now, in one sentence, this is always a challenge, but in one sentence, how would you define your call in life?
My brain is on overload picking up knowledge, and if I don't share it with people, my head would figuratively explode. I guess.
So with that call, right, to try to get out the information so your head doesn't explode,
Yeah.
do you feel like your job or your career lines up with that call?
Yeah, I feel it does. I really enjoy being here at UPike. On a nice small class size. I think the biggest class size I've ever had was 41.
And what would you say is if someone was watching this and said, I just don't know if I want to be a college professor, what is your most favorite thing about being a college professor?
Well, I mean, I like the flexibility and ways that we can grow, the conferences that we can attend. Just being around students keeps you young, you know. Some people would probably, in their 50s, in their work environment, they're only around people in their 50s, or people in their 30s would be in their work environment only with people in their 30s. And, you know, I like being around, you know, a group of the people here on campus, the students, you know, the 18, 22-year-old, and then the non-traditionals. And I just feel like they keep you young.
So in your time in higher education, you've been influential to others, from particular math class to being an advisor to maybe even playing games, puzzles, and doing some really fun things like trivia. But who's been most influential to you to help you learn, grow, and discover your own call?
Well, I guess I'd have to start with my family. Dad was the one who kind of gave us that travel love. And when I was 4 years old, we took a motor home trip all the way from Oklahoma City to Vancouver, British Columbia. I mean, by the time I was 5 years old, I think I'd visited 20 states. And it just carried on, you know. And, Mom would support kind of the emotional, you know, I'd be down and she'd try to pick me up, you know, when grades were low and felt lonely, especially being 600 miles from home in Louisiana. And 700 miles away when I was at Purdue for 3 years as well, before I got to LSU. Brothers, all my siblings are older than me. I think they supported me quite a bit along the way, encouraged me. I think my oldest brother showed me how to do a derivative when I was like 10 years old. And I'm like, that's so fascinating. And my teachers, especially Miss Nelson, who let me do the 2x2 multiplication. Dr. Katz over at OSU, who told me about the REU. Dr. Madden and Dr. Hoffman, professors who helped me with my dissertation. Helping me discover an open problem and helping me work with material to find a new result.
So if someone was watching this today, Dr. Holcomb, and they said, oh my goodness, like you are living out the dream that I want to live, what did you do to get yourself in this position now?
I took my academics very seriously in high school. Sometimes it would be like, well, all my friends are out partying and I'm at home reading my calculus book. Made some sacrifices along the way. I joined the honors program at Oklahoma State, and I was surrounded by people who were my kind of more with my equals. I think I had more equals academically in college than I did in high school, and I think that helped me blossom in college. The REU was very instrumental. I got to meet other people who were interested in their long-term goals was like me, get a math PhD and do either research or teach mathematically.
So when people think about math, oftentimes they can get queasy in their stomach or get so nervous, it's like, oh my goodness. But for you, what makes you love math so much?
It's just like almost like a toolbox on paper. The manipulations you can do, combining like terms, solving the Pythagorean theorem. It's just that grinding out with numbers and symbols. It's kind of fun. And the applicability of mathematics, if someone looks at the shape of the ferns, or does some basic modeling on, like the Fibonacci sequence, or they figure out how much concrete it takes to lay out for your swimming pool, the volume computations. It's just really enjoyable to see how math is applicable to so many parts of daily life.
So you've had many different conversations with students over the years, because you're definitely one of the professors who really pride yourself on going to volleyball games and football games and all kinds of different ways to support students, and even just hanging out in the plaza. When you talk with students, and if a student comes to you and says, Dr. Holcomb, I'm surrounded by all these people who know what they want to do, but I just have no idea what I want to do with my life, what advice do you have for them?
Keep close to your academic equals. One of my regrets is that I haven't kept in touch with people from high school and college, and I feel like we've lost connection. So keep in touch with them, and you never know when you strike up a conversation with someone, and that conversation might lead to something like, oh, I've got this really cool project I think you'll enjoy. And that gets them hooked on sociology, or that gets them hooked on biology, or math, art, music. And at the start of the day, they probably didn't even expect that opportunity to arise. So keep an open mind. Go to as many social events with your academic equals as you can, I think, would be valuable.